Hi my dear Hi my dear students. Today we are going to discuss about the anticholinergic drugs. Last class we discussed about the cholinergic system and the drugs acting on the cholinergic system. Today the opposite action, or those drugs that antagonizes the action of drugs acting on the cholinergic system. Now I told you cholinergic system has two receptors, muscarinic and nicotinic receptors. So an anticholinergic drug means that it should inhibit the muscarinic as well as the nicotinic action. But here the anticholinergic drugs means those which are anti-muscarinic. Drugs that inhibit only the muscarinic action of cholinergic system is otherwise known as anticholinergic drugs. Coming to today's class objectives, today we will be discussing the classification of anticholinergic drugs. We'll discuss the mechanism of action, the pharmacological action, the therapeutic effects or therapeutic uses, and the adverse effects of the anticholinergic drug, plus what is the treatment for atropine toxicity. Okay, this picture shows the classification of anti-muscarinic drugs. Okay, let me tell you. The anticholinergic drugs are otherwise called as anti-muscarinic drugs. They block the muscarinic receptors in the peripheral tissue as well as in the CNS and produce respective responses. Now, they have different names. One I told you, anticholinergic is otherwise known as anti-muscarinic drugs. They are also labeled as parasympatholytic drugs or atropine-like drugs, where there is no lytic action on the parasympathetic system, or it is better to use the term anti-muscarinic drugs. And I hope you understood with the term anti-muscarinic. Muscarinic action opposite muscarinic action antagonize ചെയ്യുന്ന drugs ആണ് anti-muscarinic or anticholinergic drugs. Okay, നമ്മുടെ classification under cholinergic system we studied anticholinesterase. In that അത് ആൻറ്റികോളിനെസ്ട്രേസ് ആണ്, ഇവിടെ ആൻറ്റികോളിനർജിക്സ് ആണ്. ആ പേരിൻ്റെ വ്യത്യാസം മനസ്സിലാക്കണം. ആൻറ്റികോളിനെസ്ട്രേസ് ആർ drugs which inhibit the enzyme acetylcholinesterase, and anticholinergics are otherwise anti-muscarinic drugs. I hope you understand the difference between the two. Okay, coming into the classification, natural ones, which includes atropine, hyoscine, which is otherwise known as scopolamine. Natural alkaloids obtained from plants. Semi-synthetic derivatives includes atropine methonitrate, homoatropine, hyoscine, ipratropium bromide, and tiotropium. Then coming to synthetic compounds includes mydriatic drugs, that is which dilate your pupils, cyclopentolate and tropicamide, and vesicoselective, or which acts on the urinary bladder, oxybutynin, fluvoxate, dariphenacin, solifenacin. These are the four drugs you should remember under these group. Then other drugs which come under anti-muscarinic drugs, which act as anti-secretory as well as antispasmodic action, includes quaternary compounds, which includes glycopyrrolate. Remember glycopyrrolate under quaternary compounds. Tertiary amines include dicyclomine, pyrancepine, and drugs those which are anti-muscarinic used in the treatment of Parkinsonism includes trihexylphenadiol, procyclidine, piperidine. Okay, procyclidine, piperidine are the drugs which can be used in the treatment of Parkinsonism. Coming to the mechanism of action of anticholinergic drugs, it is a competitive, and atropine act as a competitive antagonist. As you see in the picture, acetylcholine muscarinic receptor to which acetylcholine binds, in place of acetylcholine our atropine or scopolamine, which are the anticholinergic or anti-muscarinic drug, comes and bind and inhibit the action of acetylcholine, or prevents the acetylcholine on binding to the muscarinic receptors. Now, what are the features? First, they are competitive antagonist, compete with the acetylcholine, blocks the acetylcholine at the muscarinic receptors in the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, it is a reversible blockade of acetylcholine at the muscarinic receptors by competitive binding. Reversal by increasing, how you can reverse it? By increasing acetylcholine or agonist, thereby decreases the blockade. And also, once these drugs bind to the receptors, they inhibit nerve transmission at these receptors. That is, once they come and bind to the receptors, the opposite action, that is acetylcholine's action, is lost, and the actions of acetylcholine will be decreased. Coming to the first drug, as I told you, the first drug, synthetic drug, is atropine. Now, atropine is a prodrug that is obtained from Atropa belladonna, alkaloid obtained from Atropa belladonna, which is a plant which is otherwise known as deadly nightshade, and also from Datura stramonium, another name thorn apple. Now, in history, if you look, Italian Renaissance, that is during that time, dilated pupils were considered as beautiful. So these ladies in that time used to put extracts of these plants, that is Atropa belladonna, as cosmetic eye drops, so that their eyes look dilated and bring the beauty of bring them beauty. Once upon a time, dilated pupils were considered as beauty, so they used Atropa belladonna extracts to produce dilated pupil. Hence the name belladonna, or beautiful lady in Italian. Okay, this is just a history about atropine. Coming to the pharmacological actions of atropine, when I speak about the pharmacological action, you should remember what was the action of acetylcholine. The exact opposite will be the action of atropine. That is antagonizing the actions of acetylcholine. So the opposite action, or the actions of acetylcholine, won't be there in the actions of atropine. So here in CNS, mild CNS stimulant in therapeutic doses. Therapeutic doses, they act as a stimulant, but in large doses they show excitement, restlessness and hallucinations. Now, CNS തന്നെയാണ് നമ്മുടെ പാർക്കിൻസോണിസം ഇഫക്റ്റ് വരുന്നത്. പാർക്കിൻസോണിസം is a disease that is characterized by restlessness, bradykinesia. So that is due to the decrease in the neurotransmitter dopamine in the brain. As a result, acetylcholine increases in the brain. So acetylcholine increase can be decreased by giving anti-muscarinic drugs. Okay, that is why anti-Parkinsonism effects can be reduced by cholinergic overactivity in the basal ganglia, and also in the brain it helps in suppressing vestibular disturbances. Those and motion sicknesses can be decreased by this drug. So in short, if you ask me, CNS effect, higher dose if you stimulate restlessness, excitement and hallucination, then in the brain it can be anticholinergic overactivity can be inhibited, hence used in the treatment of Parkinsonism. And since it helps in suppressing the vestibular function, it is used in anti-motion sickness. CVS. In our what does acetylcholine do? It decreases. Here what will happen? It will increase. Our atropine is a life-saving drug. Suppose a patient go out of pulse and BP, we immediately inject adrenaline and then along with it atropine. So this is also a life-saving drug which increases BP as well as heart rate. So, but here one thing you should remember, at low doses of atropine, it will cause bradycardia, that is by the blockade of presynaptic M1 receptors that is present over the presynaptic cleft. This will inhibit the acetylcholine release. As a result, there is bradycardia. But in moderate to higher doses of atropine, there is blockade of M2 receptors that is present in the heart, and there is increased in impulse from SA node, AV node, and also decreased PR interval. That is, heart rate increases, force of contraction increases. Okay. So in short, atropine on CVS, it increases heart rate and pulse rate, heart rate and conduction, force of contraction also. In the glands, action on acetylcholine was to increase the secretion. Here what happens, it will decrease all the secretions. All secretion under cholinergic influence will be reduced due to M3 blockade, except for milk and bile. Rest of the secretions will be decreased. Skin and mucous membrane will become dry. As a result of anticholinergic drug, the skin and mucous membrane will become dry due to inhibition of the secretion from glands. Coming to the smooth muscles, what does acetylcholine do? It increases the tone and motility. So the opposite action over here. Anti-muscarinic drugs will decrease the tone and motility, increase pentatone, cause constipation and relax the smooth muscles of the gallbladder. In urinary tract, genitourinary tract, it reduces the detrusor and increases the tone of trigone that finally causes retention of urine. In bronchial muscles, it relaxes the bronchial muscles and decreases secretion and mucociliary clearance. So you should be careful in patients those who have urinary retention. If you give antimuscarinic drugs, it will cause more retention because their action is itself retention of urine. Okay, but it is safe in bronchial asthma patient as it helps in bronchial muscle relaxation. Coming to the action of atropine on the eye. What was our action of acetylcholine on the eye? Decreases the IOP by increasing the flow, outside flow of aqueous humor, and decreases IOP and thereby used in treatment of glaucoma. Here it acts on the and there it acts on the iris muscle, causes miosis, that is small pupil. Here what happens, it acts on the constrictor pupillae, which is by the M3 receptors, and blocks the action of M3, causing passive mydriasis. This and also it also inhibits the ciliary muscles, causing cycloplegia or loss of accommodation. If acetylcholine causes meiosis, here it causes mydriasis. The action of M3 is being lost and it causes passive mydriasis. Coming to the pharmacokinetics of anticholinergic drugs, absorption, atropine, scopolamine and other tertiary amines are well absorbed. Distribution, except for quaternary, the rest of the drugs are widely distributed. Metabolism, 50% of the atropine and 80% of the scopolamines are metabolized by the liver and conjugated and excreted out through the urine. 50% is unchanged and T half is about 3 hours. Coming to the therapeutic uses of anticholinergic drugs. It is used in treatment of Parkinsonism. I told you in the beginning itself, and the cholinergic overactivity can be decreased by anticholinergic drugs. Then the vestibular disturbances can be inhibited by anticholinergic drugs. Therefore, it is used in motion sickness. Also, it can be used. It causes bronchodilation, so it is used in bronchial asthma and COPD. Also in vagolytic to treat sinus bradycardia and partial heart block, where it can, I told you in anticholinergic action is to increase the force of contraction, decrease the PR rate. So it can be used in treatment of heart block. Also it has an antispasmodic action in dysmenorrhea, plus intestinal, renal and biliary colic. Relieves your bladder spasm after urosurgery and urinary incontinence. Coming to the drugs that are used specifically for Parkinsonism includes benztropine and trihexylphenadiol. I told you in my classification about these drugs, benztropine and trihexylphenadiol. These are given to people those who cannot take levodopa, and this helps in decreasing the salivation, spasticity and tremors. Also in motion sickness, the drug used is scopolamine. Now drug-induced Parkinsonism or extrapyramidal side effects due to psychotics can also be treated with benztropine and trihexylphenadiol. Okay. Respiratory cases, I told you there are two drugs that are usually used for COPD cases, that is ipratropium and tiotropium. These are the two drugs that are therapeutically used for COPDs. Now coming to the therapeutic uses, continuing with the therapeutic uses, the other uses, ophthalmic, I told you it can cause mydriasis. So mydriatic and cycloplegic action is used for refraction testing. Also it is used for fundoscopy to see the fundus if any changes that can occur during long-standing diabetes or hypertension. Now in iridocyclitis, it can be used alternating with a mitotic to break the adhesion between the lens and the iris. Iridocyclitis is a condition where the iris may get stuck to the cornea. So for that the miotics and mydriatics are given alternatively so that the adhesions break off. And also it is used in pre-anesthetic medication. The most commonly used are atropine or glycopyrrolate to prevent vagal bradycardia and laryngospasm. The other uses, siluria, that is excessive salivary secretions, and also it is an antidote for OP poisoning or organophosphorus poisoning, which I had mentioned last time. Other includes mushroom poisoning and also along with neostigmine to counteract its muscarinic effects. When talking about the side effects, the opposite of acetylcholine, every secretions will be decreased. So here you will have a dry mouth and you will have difficulty in swallowing and talking. Then photophobia and blurred vision due to mydriasis. As the eye is being dilated, you will have photophobia as well as blurred vision. It may also precipitate acute congestive glaucoma. So atropine is always contraindicated in glaucoma. It can cause retention of urine, so it is contraindicated in also in patients having retention of urine. It can cause constipation, restlessness, excitement, tachycardia and palpitations. These are the side effects of anticholinergic drugs. Now, if you summarize what are the pictures of anticholinergic side effects, it is you can remember them as 4. Hot as a hair, hyperpyrexia means an increased temperature. Red as beet, cutaneous due to cutaneous vasodilatation. Dry as bone means decreased secretion, dry skin. Blind as bat because of mydriasis and cyclopedia, you have blurred vision. And mad as a hatter because of restlessness and excitement. Now, another important topic that you should remember in this chapter is treatment of atropine poisoning or atropa belladonna or belladonna poisoning. Atropine poisoning is otherwise known as belladonna poisoning. Belladonna is, suppose we have I told you it is a plant alkaloid obtained from Atropa belladonna. Suppose you go and have these plants and on large scale can lead to what you say toxicity. So first thing you should do is hospitalization, then ABC, that is airway, breathing and circulation. You should check these three and do a gastric lavage if it is swallowed. Gastric lavage is a stomach wash where you clear off the ingested or prevent the further absorption of the drug into the blood. And third you should do is tepid sponging as it increases temperature. Now, diazepam to control convulsions. Some people may go into convulsions, so diazepam is a drug that is used, anti-epileptic drug that is used to control convulsions. And the antidote for atropine is physostigmine 1 to 4 milligrams slowly injected. So the antidote for atropine poisoning is physostigmine. Our antidote for OP, organophosphorus poisoning, was atropine, and the drug for atropine is physostigmine. Coming to the contraindications of atropine, as I told you, it is contraindicated in acute congestive glaucoma as it precipitates glaucoma, and in elderly people as it is more prone to produce urinary retention. In elderly people, they are first of all in a tendency of urinary retention. If you give this anti-muscarinic drugs, they are more prone to produce urinary retention. These are the classifications of drugs with their names. Okay, classification of anticholinergic drugs according to their clinical use. Ophthalmic use, as I told you, there is mydriatic use purpose, that is cyclopentaloid, tropicamide and homatropine. Now they have antispasmodic action. See, I told you acetylcholine increases motility, this decreases motility and hence can act as antispasmodic. Dicyclomine, hyoscine and hyoscine. These are the two common drugs that you should remember. Urinary antispasmodic, and the urinary bladder decreasing spasm, it includes oxybutynin and flavoxate and dariphenazine. Bronchodilation, it is ipratropium and tiotropium, and in Parkinsonism, benztropine, piperidine and benzhexol. These are the specific drugs that are used for specific uses. Just a small note about the individual drugs. As I told you, atropine, it is a prodrug and is obtained plant alkaloid and is used as an antidote in OP poisoning. Ipratropium, I told you, it is used in excellent bronchodilator, so it is used in COPD or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Scopolamine helps in maintaining depressing the CNS and helps in correcting vestibular disturbances, so it is used in motion sickness. Benztropine temporarily used in Parkinsonism disease as it helps in the overactivity of acetylcholine action. Also, it is used in the treatment of drug-induced Parkinsonism. Other drugs, trihexylphenidale is also used for treating extrapyramidal side effects by antipsychotics, and also it is contraindicated in glaucoma. Flavoxate relieves dysuria, urgency, frequency, and also pain during genitourinary infections. Oxybutynin has a direct antispasmodic effect on the smooth vessels of the urinary bladder and decreases the frequency of voiding. So with this we finished today's class. In today's class I taught you what is anticholinergic drugs, what is the classification of anticholinergic drugs, the pharmacological action and their uses with their side effects, and a small note on what is atropine poisoning and their treatment. So we studied the classification, the pharmacological actions, the therapeutic uses, adverse effects and contraindications. You should answer me these questions. Why atropine is used in the pre-anesthetic medications? Just two reasons why it is used. Okay, 1, 2. You can answer me in the common group that is being in our phone, which we have in the phone. That will be much better for me to reply for your answers. Then second question, why physostigmine is preferred over neostigmine in the treatment of atropine poisoning? It is not OP but atropine poisoning. Atropine poisoning. Why physostigmine and neostigmine? Why physostigmine is preferred over neostigmine in treatment of atropine poisoning, and how scopolamine helps in motion sickness? Now tell me the rationale. Why? What is the reason for atropine using atropine in pre-anesthetic checkup or medication? Why we prefer physostigmine over neostigmine in atropine poisoning? Atropine poisoning and scopolamine. The rationale of scopolamine in motion sickness. Okay, this is another question that you should find and tell me. One specific M1 receptor blocker and M3 blocker. I guess I have told you, mention M1 agonist in my first chapter and M3 agonist. Now you just find out the blocker names and mention me in the group which we have been formed. Okay. Another question that you should remember is why atropine is used in children for mydriasis and tropicamide and cyclopentolate used in adults for mydriasis. So if you ask me the preference, atropine for mydriasis in children, it is usually atropine, and tropicamide and cyclopentolate is usually given in adults. Why? So we end our class with the anticholinergic drugs, and I hope you all understood with today's class. Please answer me the question in the WhatsApp group, okay? That will be easier for me to check rather than the Google Classroom or YouTube channel, okay? Thank you.